welcome to You're Wrong About Musicals. I'm Esme,
And I'm Nell.
and today we are going to be talking about Mean Girls, a musical we think we have done, and then we are like, oh, we haven't done it. Let's see how it goes on the West End, and then announce it's closing, so we're like, we'll do it. But first, we have some news. There has been a lot of goings-ons in the world this week since we recorded last. We recorded last on Monday last week. So,
Wednesday.
it's now Wednesday, over a week later. I have spent the past week being basically a glorified town crier. I think I'd be a really good town crier, I'm gonna be honest.
I think you would be.
I'm always on it. I'm always on it. Like, displaying the information to the girlies. My favorite sandwich got discontinued at my favorite coffee shop. Town
Sucks.
crier. Town crier. I had my last
I've
one.
been.
I didn't realize it. And then I
Oh,
started crying when I realized that was my last one. In the cafe.
damn. I've been really stressed with work.
Yeah.
I'm getting really tempted to order myself a Starbucks for tomorrow.
Real. Anywho, we're gonna get into the news. There's a lot. Some of it's quick. Some of it unearthed something that we didn't know was left in us.
Yeah.
We were so normal on Monday.
Oh, yeah. Nothing but normal.
No, me and Nell, we were so normal. So normal.
So normal.
Because we're adults with lives.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny, isn't
We're
it?
about to graduate university.
Yeah,
So there's a piece of news we have to get through first before we can do this bit,
no,
by the way.
we're gonna park this conversation now, actually, and go into this one because it's actually very important, and I want to take it seriously because I feel quite serious about it. Unfortunately, last week, William Finn, composer of falsettos, 25th, Putnam County Spelling Bee, A New Brain, passed away. It is very sad, and his work is very, I think it means so much to people because of how unabashed it looks at life
Yeah.
and all that life is, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like he is the thing that I'm always so impressed with falsettos and with spelling bee is how fucking funny they are.
Yeah.
And how heartbreaking they can be in the next moment. Because that's life, baby.
I don't have a lot to add to this point. It's really sad.
Mhm.
But his works did mean a lot to a lot of people.
Yeah. And his work.
And I'm glad he got to put them out there.
And
if nothing else.
like his work, like in theory, falsettos should not still be as big as it is.
Yeah.
But I think that's just such, I mean, there's many reasons why falsetto is as big as it is. But I think it is such a testament to how much people respond to his work. Yeah, it's a testament to how viscerally people respond to his work, how big that show is still to this day. But yeah, rest in peace, William Finn. We're gonna have to do a tone change, guys. There's no way around this. This is the news that made me and now act like we were 12 again, 13 again.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, this was kind of our Destiel. You know?
Yeah. We went insane.
We were just talking about some plans that we have because of this news.
Shall I see how the text started?
I sent it to you and I was like, I'm feeling so normal about this. So normal.
I was in the library.
So was I. I was in the big fancy library. And I was also sad when I got ballet shoes tickets. The one that they do tours, and there's currently a conference on in there.
Jesus. Yeah, I was in the library working on my dissertation. I did listen to the entire Hamilton soundtrack. And you know what? Something in me was healed.
And I felt like
I sent Esme a really funny text about it.
It was hilarious. I giggled, but you guys won't understand it. So
It's about something going on in my personal
Yeah.
life, so I can't talk about it. But Trust me, it was hilarious.
Believe it or not, guys, we are not actually as big oversharers on here as you guys think.
It's pretty close, but
We do have boundaries. Hamilton on board.
Aaron Burr himself.
It got me to do Hamilton puns on the internet in 2025. What? So, as two people who were around the first time and was at a young, impressionable age the first time, this means more to us than I think you can imagine.
We were saying right before we started recording,
Yeah.
because both of us immediately after this were like, we need to go to New York right now. We need to go see this.
Well, we need to do Ragtime, we need to do Immersive Phantom, and we need to go see Leslie Odom Jr. as Aaron Burr in Hamilton. But we can't afford that.
Yeah. We were saying, who from the original cast would make us go?
Who from the original cast? Like, there's two pairing. There's like two people who, if they were to go in, I would actually like. I would find a way of making it work.
Lin-Manuel Miranda, of course.
It's Lin
as Hamilton. I have to be there.
And Renee Elise Goldsberry. Those are the two where I'm like, if that happens, I'm calling up my mom and going, get me on a flight right now.
I think if Daveed Diggs went back in, I would get very close.
You get very close calling me and being like, let your mum know I'm coming to the airport.
I was like, Esme, tell your mother I'm on my way.
Esme, we're on our way to the airport.
Esme, pack a bag.
I'd be on the phone going, Mom, flight now.
God, I think honestly, no, literally all of them would get me to this point where I'm like, I'm really tempted. I cannot afford it.
Have you seen prices?
I know. Lin-Manuel Miranda would push me over the edge where I'd be like, I have to find a way to do this. And I would actually like start properly looking. Anyone else, I'd be like, holy shit.
Like, it's already dislodged something deep within my brain.
Yeah.
Like, let's be real here. If you guys have listened to the podcast this entire year, you know me and Nell have been very stressed this entire year over uni stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's all coming to an end very soon. I don't want to talk about it, but like it is. So we'll be back to semi-normal soon.
Yep. I think a part of us will have been changed forever.
Dude.
It's a part of us that seeing the OVC of Hamilton live in person could fix. So Lin-Manuel Miranda, if you're listening.
Lin, I love you so much.
Get back on the Richard Rogers stage and invite us.
I would cry. I genuinely, I thought, should I tell you what I first thought when I saw it?
What?
I thought it was Aaron Burr's birthday.
I mean, honestly, yeah.
Like, I saw it, and I was literally like, oh, it's Aaron Burr's birthday. And then I scrolled back, and I was like, ugh! But I was in public, so I couldn't be weird about it. And then, should I tell you what I did? I had to leave the library and go on a fucking walk and listen to Hamilton. In 2025, I'm a grown-ass woman. And then I had a scary thought, right? People who this means a lot to, who also saw it like us and was like, what the fuck? This is crazy. This is mental. Weren't conscious the first time. They weren't aware the first time. They've not been in the trenches like us. You're still looking at
the not even that bad. No, I'm looking at Hamilton tickets.
In the year 2025. Anyway, massive news for us. We're going to go see Hamilton. That's upshot.
We are going to go see Hamilton.
Going to see Hamilton.
Not with Leslie Odom Jr. in it.
No, unfortunately. I would kill myself in a positive way if I were to go see Hamilton with Leslie Odom Jr. It's so amazing. Smash opens on Broadway, gets mixed reviews. They're hilarious. Read them. Andy Mientes, who played Kyle, aka Jonathan Larson. Again, I'm not making a judgment. That's just basically how the series positions him. It's on Prime now. Smash is on Prime, everybody. Goes in a suit with track marks, like the truck that killed Kyle after singing a cover of The Last Goodbye by Jeff Buckley.
Yep.
Stay Smash. Love you. I also didn't realize that was a Jeff Buckley song, and then like the Jeff Buckley version came up on my shuffle once, like recently, and
Damn, the Jeff Buckley version.
yeah, well, there's a Smash version, there's a Jeff Buckley version. Come on now.
Christ.
Jeff Buckley wrote the song. And and I went, oh my God, they did this on Smash, and it's the song that Kyle sings while he's going to confront Jimmy about being a drug dealer, and then he gets hit by a truck.
Christ.
Um, the UK version of Saturday Night Live is happening. People have been joking that it's just going to be the same five comedians.
Yep. It will be.
It will be. Um, New York Magazine Yesteryear issue. Very fun.
They had Broadway stars reprising their most famous roles.
Yeah.
It was really sick.
It was so sick. I loved it. Um, Now we're gonna do Pop Girl Corner, and I've made it relate to musicals.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, the first two are, and I'm not gonna talk about the third one, okay?
Okay.
Thank you. Chaperone goes to see Cabaret. Need her thoughts. John Proctor as the villain gets rave reviews. Guys,
As expected.
I really need to go see John Proctor as the villain. I don't think you guys understand the level which I need to go see John Proctor as the villain.
Get us to New York right now. We'll do anything.
Concord, hit me up.
Bring back the Concorde.
Bring back the Concord, hit me up.
I was trying to do research for an essay I'm writing.
Yeah.
And I was researching Live Aid. And
Obviously.
I genuinely had to stop because there was this random line. It was like, I don't remember who it fucking was now. My brain is fried today.
Got on the Concord.
Yeah, like Phil Collins got on the Concorde so he could perform at both shows. I was like, well, fuck you.
I was listening to an interview with Tina Fey in preparation for this, and she was talking about the Concord with Phil Collins and Live Aid.
Jesus Christ.
I know. And so I was thinking about you, because obviously I think about you when I think about the Concord.
I fucking love the Concorde so much. I miss it every day.
But also, massive news for John Proctor as a villain. Lorde has plotted her return to pop, and they got on Pop Base for reacting to it.
Which is quite funny.
Lorde only returns to us every 4 years, and so this is a massive deal. Again, I've been the town crier this week. Titanic, to close off Broadway. It's been running for 4 years.
Yeah.
It's done very well. And it's got like a sit-down performance in, I want to say, Chicago.
Yeah? Something like that.
And it's had LA productions. It's had productions. Obviously, it's running very well here in the UK. My father is the biggest fan. And it's got a production in Australia. And we are not talking about the latest Instagram story crash out because it's not as funny as I'm going
This
to.
is all we're talking about today with Titanic off Broadway.
But yeah, Titanic's done so well. Gypsy cast recording. Exciting. It's coming out
Very fun.
next week or this week? This week, I think it's
soon.
This Friday. So it'll be out when everyone's listening to this. And then the week after, I think it's Gypsy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so excited to hear an actually professionally recorded version of Audra McDonald's Rose's Turn.
Oh, yeah.
That isn't from the back row of the balcony first preview.
But thank you guys for your hard work.
Thank you for your hard work. But like, I'm excited to hear
I want to hear it from a studio.
Yeah. I want to hear it over studio, full band, correct mixing, yada yada yada. Gatsby starts performances in London. I have got big news, guys. I have a ticket to Gatsby. I will be seeing Gatsby relatively soon. Gatsby Corner from The Great Gatsby on the West End.
Coming. Oh, it will be great.
Coming your way. It's coming your way. Nell's not coming because she's on.
Nope.
I'm going by myself, and I'm gonna sit at The Great Gatsby and go, what the fuck have they done to my Pookie? But I know it's gonna happen. Pretty voices. Gatsby ART footage. Kill me now.
Yeah.
Give me it. Florence Welsh.
Florence.
This is why I have a one-sided beef with her. You know? Many reasons.
This specifically.
No, I was bitching about it today, actually.
Fair enough.
I will explain my beef with Florence Welsh soon. Because I can.
Yeah.
This summer. No, genuinely.
Yeah, this summer.
I can
It won't have any repercussions anymore.
no, I can actually explain it. I mean, I could right now, but boundaries. Brokeback Mountain to have its American premiere.
We're not laughing at that. We're laughing at a note that Esme left on this piece of news.
Max Shetland, come back. Max,
Okay.
I miss you.
We've definitely talked about this on the podcast before.
We talked about him in Bake Off.
Almost definitely. There was, unfortunately, this.
We hope he's not dead. We hope he's just not on the internet anymore. Although he needs to come back.
He was this TikTok theatre reviewer called Max Shetland.
Yeah.
And he'd always start his videos with like a hook.
So his
great TikTok technique.
Yeah, I need to get into that. His one of the aspects of love was Incest the musical.
Yeah. But he did this one very specific one for Brokeback Mountain when it was over here.
At Soho Place.
Soho Place. At Soho Place. And he just started it by going, the most boring musical on the West End. I'm not even the musical show. Most boring show on the West End.
Me and Nell thought it was so funny. We just quote it back and forth.
It was hilarious. And I think the biggest thing with it was specifically because it was Brokeback Mountain. This happened with Mike Feist. This happened. And then like a week later.
No, we were quoting it. We walked past a Brokeback Mountain thing and we went, the most boring show on the West End.
And then, around the same time, someone rode past us on a line bike.
Shout out Mike Feist!
Shout out Mike Feist.
Pure work.
But I miss Max Shetland.
Max Shetland, I need you to go review Gatsby.
Two strangers doing a North American tour.
No, I think they're just playing ART at the moment.
Yes. Oh yeah, North American production.
Yeah, Sam Tutty is going over to reprise his role. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is big for me. Big news. Big news, guys. I am going with my parents to go see Evita. Deeply afraid. Deeply afraid.
You need to go beforehand to scope it out.
No, this is a genuine plan, guys, because we all know I'm going to go see Evita multiple times. We all know I'm going to see Evita multiple times. So when
there's going to go buy the cheap tickets.
When those under 30 tickets come out, Jamie Lloyd, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna buy one. Dad, this is a warning for you. I'm telling you now, so I don't have to explain myself 10 times when I say I'm going to see Evita. You guys aren't coming, not yet, next week.
That's my seeing Evita twice. Because she has an addiction. Because every year she has to get weird about a show. And she's really gunning for Evita this year, but we both know it's going to be Hamilton.
It's gonna be Hamilton, not Midler. It's gonna be fucking Hamilton.
She keeps buying tickets to Evita, being I'm gonna get really into Evita this year.
Another Evita ticket. I'm waiting till the under 30 tickets come out, and then
she's going to keep buying Evita tickets, trying to force herself to get really weird about Evita. It's not gonna happen. I'm taking her to go see Hamilton, and she's gonna go see it 20 times over the summer. And we both know it's happening.
It's either that or Fiddler, guys.
Mate, Fiddler was out of the running months ago. If we're being honest, it's between Hamilton and Oliver.
Gatsby.
Not even Gatsby.
No, it is between Hamilton and Oliver. Crap.
It's between Hamilton and Oliver.
So, guys. But why can't it be Evita?
Get ready for our year in review this year. Esme is going to rank about 20 different performances of either Hamilton or Oliver.
Well, the year before that was Oklahoma. Last year it was Hadestown. We've got to rank another fucking Hadestown this year.
Yep. We've got to rank it, Esme. We've got to rank it.
We'll talk about it again.
2 more pieces of news.
One more piece of news. We've done. Oh no, have we not done this? No.
You've actually just talked about Evita. You haven't said what the news is.
There's a reason for
Not we.
Me. I'm in charge. Um, Diego Andres Rodriguez to play Che in Evita. I have seen his little Sunset Boulevard down the street. Also, when I was booking it with my parents, I had to explain to my sisters who Jamie Lloyd was. They went, "Can we go see Hercules instead?" I went, "Nope, it's Evita or nothing, guys." If you ever want to know whether or not something's massively commercially viable, just go talk to my sisters. That's what I've discovered. Um,
We don't need to release West End grosses. We just need to talk to my sisters.
yeah, be like, rank these shows about what you want more, less.
What would you go and see?
Yes, yes. You too. What seems like a good day out for you? Because they saw The Lion King and had an amazing time when the rest of us went to go see Les Mis.
Can't even fault them because The Lion King is good.
I've never seen The Lion King.
Fuck you.
I need to go see The Lion King, actually.
Oh my God, we're seeing Matilda this summer as well.
We are seeing Matilda this summer.
We've not booked it, but we are seeing it.
We're seeing it, yeah. Girl from the
Big
North.
summer for us.
Girl, I will also go. I'm side-eyeing this and being like, I might go see this. Girl from the North Country announces Old Vic return. Never Groundhog Day.
Never Groundhog Day. There is one more piece of news that you haven't said.
What?
Ben Platt.
Oh my God, Benny Boy!
Ben, I'm sorry. I wasn't familiar with your game.
We did say he'd won a monkey, though.
He does undeniably has a wind-up monkey.
We went, Ben Platt has a wind-up monkey. And Jonah Platt's jealous of his wind-up monkey. That's why he actually...
I think the way we phrased it was unfortunately Ben Platt has a wind-up monkey. But it's not unfortunate. I'm happy that Ben Platt has a wind-up monkey.
I'm happy.
I've never been happier.
Has critical thinking skills.
You know, he was really good in The Politician and Theatre Camp. And I'll say it. I don't think his Evan Hansen was that bad.
Oh, as someone who has seen the Evan Hansen movie, it's bad. It's bad. But let's blame that on...
I don't think that's his fault.
On Mark Platt. That's another one of Mark Platt's crimes. You know, Ben Platt, I love you.
I love you, Ben Platt.
I will continue to make jokes about how bad Evan Hansen is, though. Like, you were just an actor.
If Ben Platt returned to a production of Dear Evan Hansen,
we'd have to go.
Would you go see it? Yes, we would.
We'd have to go.
We would have to go see it.
In the same way, if they ever did a Be More Chill reunion concert, I feel like we'd have to go.
But not the Broadway cast, the off-Broadway.
No, not even off-Broadway.
Rivers Theatre.
New Jersey.
Yeah.
You guys don't know your history in the same way we do.
You don't know your herstory.
What a great segue. Speaking of her story in Girl Boss
New Year's Eve 2019.
This is why we don't record late in the day, because we lose our minds.
We've got to stop recording after both of us spend all day in the library.
All day in the library, yeah.
Because we're insane.
Let me embarrass myself on mic, but Mean Girls. Let me pick up my mic, actually. Let me stop eating a chocolate muffin and pick up my mic. Mean Girls is a musical with a book by Tina Fey, music by Jeff Richmond, and lyrics by Nell Benjamin. Tina Fey would first come up with the idea for Mean Girls when she read an article in 2004 about Rosalind Wiseman's book, Queen Bees and Wannabes, the idea of a teenage relational aggression. She said, saying, I first imagined and going, oh, it's about the teachers. It's going to be like Stand and Deliver, but the more I read about it, the more I researched I did. The girls were the most interesting part. The true stories of how the young women behaved was insidious. But they were so funny in their vicious cleverness. This was the first movie that Tina Fey would write, stating, I made a rookie mistake. I asked to adapt a non-fiction book that did not have a story. I had these amazing behaviors and anecdotes, but I still didn't have a story. So I literally read Sci-Fred and read Sammy the Cat and had a million index cards. Writing in the early 2000s was very much based on my own experiences of being a teen in the late 80s. It has come as a surprise to no one that the jokes have changed. This was in 2024 when she was talking about the movie. You don't poke the same way that you used to poke. Every intention The very intention is stay the same, but you have to find new ways to do jokes with less accidental sharpness sideways. I think that's a good way of talking about the way the joke landscape has changed since the 2000s. So
Yeah.
many people or comedians nowadays like you can't joke, you can't make jokes. Whereas Tina Fey's like you can still make a joke. You just have to be smarter about how you do it. And Lord knows Tina Fey has not always made the best jokes.
Yeah.
You could not like her for some of the jokes she said, but she's trying, guys. She's trying. Um, the first draft would have been rated R. Even in the PG-13 movie, we had to take out a lot of things. We had a tough time with I think that's the rating service. I remember thinking, if this was a movie about a boys' school, Is Your Cherry Popped wouldn't have come out. The line was replaced in ADR by the much tamer, Is Your Muffin Buttered? She would spend the summers in 2002 and 2003. She was head writer on SNL at the time. Again, I don't know. I was having this conversation this week. Is SNL funny?
I think it can be. It has its moments.
I think, and I'm not just saying this because I love them, when like Amy Poehler and Tina Fey were there, it was funny.
Yeah.
Every so often I'll find myself chuckling. Like when Lynn was Hamilton again.
Yeah.
I chuckled.
But I think part of it as well is that we've kind of grown up on that kind of humor.
Mm-hmm.
Like we've grown up on Tina Fey.
Dude,
So obviously when Tina Fey is making a joke,
I'm laughing.
it's funny.
It's funny to me. It's hardwired into the brain. Um,
But I don't think when like they're not writers on it, it's not funny.
no, I just don't
So I
think.
also think sometimes when they are writers on it, it's not funny.
Mm-hmm.
It has its moments.
Moments. So she would spend her summers hunched over an old desk in a meal-dewy back room of a Fire Island rental home, fueled by coffee and chocolate-covered donuts. Faye at the she's head writer, so she like worked on her laptop. She was very old school about it. It was just sit, eat donuts, and drink coffee like a secretary from the 50s or something. Not very glamorous, but very conductive to creativity, according to Jeff Richmond. Lauren Michaels, who was a producer on every version of Mean Girls, including the musical. Lauren Michaels, I watched Saturday night the film about like the 90 minutes before SNL premiered. So
Yeah.
I could get more of an understanding about like who is Lauren Michaels? Who is this man who's very important in culture? I can't say I know anything about him. Every time I try and read something about him, end up more confused.
I think that's kind of fun. He's a
Yeah,
fun character.
every time I read something more about him, the perception I have of him is just like is this like old guy. He's like 80 something. SNL's been on the air for 40 years, 50 years, sorry. Um, who just kind of like roams around the halls of the building where SNL is and just like decides what's funny or not. And
I think that's probably pretty close to true.
I think that's pretty close to true. Like, sure. His first wife seemed sick in that movie. I think she was played by Rachel Sennett.
Oh.
Yeah. He would say high school is one of the last remaining American experiences. Also, he's Canadian. Lauren, you're Canadian. That everyone has had just a central iconic thing. The movie would famously star Lindsay Lohan, Rachel McAdams, Amanda Seyfried, Lacey Chabert, and Tina Fey as Miss Norbury. It would cost 70 million to produce and go on to make $130 million at the box office. Like, I think some cinemas still show Mean Girls and people show up and are like, I'm gonna go watch the original Mean Girls movie.
I would.
Bet you know I would. Um, it how do I say this? It is a cultural moment. It gave birth to like with the growing use of internet and GIFs and like just quoting stuff on the internet. I feel like was very popular.
Yeah.
Like Mean Girls is baked into an era of the internet. Many of the quotes have found their way into the cultural zeitgeist in a way few films do. I was about to call it modern, and I was like, this thing is over 20 years old. So I can't call it
Call
modern.
it modern.
Huh?
It wouldn't be like contemporary, but I would say it's modern.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, famously. I saw Mean Girls at a very young age, in case you were wondering why I'm like this. I saw Mean Girls at a very young age. We had both films, one and two, and
Yeah.
immediately I was like, one is so much better than two. What the hell's happening here? You know, even though the second one is probably a lot more like something a kid would like.
The first one's just so good that kind of anything that comes after it is going to be shit.
You can't like top it. Anyway, the first mention of making the Mean Girls a musical would happen in 2013 on the SAG Awards carpet when Tina Fey would be asked about it, saying, "Maybe we want to. Uh, I would love it. I'm trying to develop it with my husband, who does all the music for 30 Rock. I think Paramount's on board. I've not seen 30 Rock, but I really think I need to."
I have seen bits of it because my flatmate last year was really, really into it, so we'd watch it all the time.
Mm.
But we'd watch like a couple episodes all the time, but he just loved showing us clips.
I've seen a lot of clips of 30 Rock.
Yeah, it's funny.
I mean, I love Tina Fey. I love Jane Krakowski. What more could I want
What isn't there to love?
to love about 30 Rock? I need to get on that. Right around the time we saw Book of Mormon, so about 2013, which was very funny. Obviously, this is very different because this is glorious hard art. We were inspired from people from TV. Uh, Trey Parker and Matt Stone from South Park. They came in and completely conquered the form. Yeah, Laura Michaels would come on board as producer. In April of the same year, Jeff Richmond would say to Vulture, "It's actually becoming a thing. We are in meetings with people. I've profiled Broadway folks who are talking to us about it. It's a long process, about 2 years long. How 2 years long it might take. We watch Smash, so we know how it works. No, you don't. If you've watched Smash, you definitely don't know how this thing works." With Tina Fey further saying, "Stretching it to the stage on a technical level, you're taking a three-act thing and trying to break it into two acts. You don't have voiceover, you don't have close-ups and you have to play to the balcony." That is the essential issue of trying to make a movie into a musical. What is your act break? What is the moment you send them out? And I think Frozen really struggled with that. I also think Mean Girls kind of doesn't really know what to do with that. Should I tell you what does know what to do with that?
What?
Legally Blonde.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
To be fair, I think Mean Girls does a pretty good job with its act break.
Yeah.
In fairness, I think it does the end of Act One better than it does the start of Act Two.
So, do you know now that they end on Revenge Party?
I did not actually.
Yeah, they do.
That's okay. That's shit.
Yeah, on the West End, they end on Revenge Party and they just extend it a bit, so Fearless doesn't exist as a song.
Is Fearless the best song on the Mean Girls soundtrack? Absolutely not.
It's world best.
Is it a fun song to end Act One on?
Yeah. Like, still to this day, if you were to ask me, like, I've seen both, on Broadway and in the West End. If you were to ask me, like, what is the Act One closer of Mean Girls, I'd be like, Fearless.
Yeah.
Even though I saw it 2 months ago, like, a couple months, September, it's now 2 months ago, was like, where the fuck is Fearless? And then the Act Two opener is Stop, and Stop is a perfect Act Two opener, right?
Yeah.
Because
Okay, here's my thing.
Mhm.
My only issue with Stop as an Act Two opener
Yeah.
is I feel like it doesn't really serve any plot purpose.
But
It's fun.
the very function of an Act Two opener is to kind of be like, welcome back to the world.
Yeah. Yes. I think there are ways to do that
Mm-hmm.
with a song that still has relevance to the story.
See, my issue at the moment with Mean Girls is that the song has relevance to the story, but it's just really shit. I was like, I'd rather be watching tap dancing right now, actually. The song's called I'm Blowing Up, and it sounds exactly how you'd expect it to.
There's a part of me that almost wishes you could rework the kind of pacing of Mean Girls
Hmm.
and have the Act 2 opener be sexy, because I think would work really well.
Oh my God, Karen walking on stage and then back off of it would kill as an act
I
two.
think that would be a perfect
Can
Act
I
2
tell you
opener,
what it would kind of
but
be like?
pacing wise, does not make
Doesn't
sense.
make sense. It would be good to have a Karen moment there, actually. I feel like a Karen moment there would work.
Yeah,
It kind of reminds me of Telly.
yeah, which is also an incredible Act 2 opener.
A little interlude
Get
before
out
you
of the
get
way.
a little interlude before you get into the heart-wrenching, life-changing Never When I Grow Up.
Because that's the thing, I almost wish they would do something like that, where they have a funny Karen moment or song,
Mm.
and then go into a song like Stop,
Hmm.
where it's like, by the way, this is what is happening. Anyways, back with the story.
Like try and have Karen do a plot synopsis or something like that.
Because I know at the end of the film and of the musical, I'm pretty sure, she becomes a weather reporter for the school news with her tits.
Yeah, no, that's just in the film, but it's such a great bit.
God's sake, this musical sucks. Uh, um,
Sexy as the song is very funny. Still, I
yeah,
sound like that.
okay. Here's my thing. They're not doing her becoming a news reporter, a weather reporter at the end. Just have her open Act 2 like that. Have her be like, I'm here with whatever the fuck the school is called,
Not Shore High.
North Shore High, with a weather report.
Yeah,
Blah, 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 blah. And now we're gonna cut to, I don't know, the fucking drama club's rehearsals.
yeah.
Like rehearsals for the pep rally. Blah, blah, blah.
Or have the talent, have her Karen be like, and here's my talent, but Regina won't let me do it, so I'm going to do it for all of you, people in my room. Or have it be something where she doesn't realize she's broadcasting it to people.
Yeah, if you wanted a modern take on it. She thinks she's recording a TikTok. She's on TikTok live.
On TikTok Live,
What a fool.
she's like, why are people sending me gifts?
This is the thing, is I think when you have a character like Karen, you have a really easy way to open Act 2.
Yeah.
And it feels like it wasn't used. And I think the biggest issue with that is that when you have a song like Sexy, which feels like you could just put it at the start of Act 2 and it would be perfect.
Yeah.
Why is then the Act 2 opener still a good song, but weird for an Act 2 opener within the context of the show?
Yeah.
That's my issue with it.
No, I completely understand. I understand your issue with it.
And I think, to bring it back to the conversation, I think it is just part of the problem of adapting a movie to stage.
Yeah.
Where do you put the interval?
Yeah. Yeah.
I think we did talk about this when we did Frozen as well, because we were like, well, obviously it has to be Let It Go, but Let It Go is shockingly early.
Let It Go happens within like the first 20 minutes of the movie.
Yeah. How do you then draw it out to be the actual closer?
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I don't like Revenge Party as the actual closer. Doesn't make sense.
They have confetti now.
Ugh.
Yeah. It was me at Mean Girls. I went by myself. It was a fascinating time. Oh God. Anyway, moving on. They would officially announce it in August 2013. They would be moving on forward with the show, with Nell Benjamin joining the team as the lyricist. Saying about it, it's a great movie. It's one of the few movies out there that kind of does the real high school thing from the girl's perspective really well. You can tell it's a labor of love from Tina Fey. Her intelligence shines through the whole thing, and it can work throughout the musical as well. I'm very excited that I'm lucky enough to be working on it. Benjamin's credits also credits her involvement with the project with her successful Tony-nominated outing on Legally Blonde. Faye and Richmond are both fans of the musical. It makes sense when they were putting this together to be like, yeah, let's get the woman who wrote the lyrics to Legally Blonde on this.
Yeah, I do feel that Mean Girls the musical is Legally Blonde's the musical, slightly more loserish younger sister.
100%.
You know?
Yeah. It's like it is more somehow more commercial,
Yeah,
more like accepted. Because I still stand by the fact that the world wasn't ready for Legally Blonde the musical in 2008.
it wasn't.
They didn't know what they had on their hands. Um,
But here's the thing.
mhm.
I also think that Legally Blonde the musical would never and could never become Legally Blonde the musical the movie, like Mean
No,
Girls did.
no, 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 no. But it could
You
have
know,
said Bruiser played by a real guy.
I feel that Legally Blonde the musical, you know, doesn't need to be in the spotlight anymore,
No.
but is supplying the alcohol for Mean Girls the musical's parties. You
Oh,
know,
yeah. Yeah, like she's like, I'm willing to let you like
Legally Blonde is 18
yeah,
and is upcharging Mean Girls
yeah, for
to
alcohol.
go and buy alcohol for her.
To go and buy Echo Falls or WKD.
Pickles, some Malibu if we're feeling generous.
If they're feeling generous that day, yeah, yeah,
Man
yeah.
of Ice.
Yes, man of ice.
I mean, Mean Girls is really making the most of what Legally Blonde is doing for her,
Mhm.
but she'll never be Legally Blonde.
You'll never be legally blonde. Um,
Anyway, me and Esme are both middle sisters.
I'm middle sisters. Although your sister never gave us alcohol.
My sister doesn't drink,
Mm.
but and I would never do this because it's illegal.
Always.
I have supplied my younger sister with
Ugh.
alcohol.
Yeah.
So I am saying in this scenario that I'm legally blonde.
Fuck, I'm Mean Girls. Shit, man.
Need a
Shit.
third musical into this.
Heathers.
Heather's is their weirdo outcast sister.
Somehow becomes very mainstream all of a sudden. You're like, ah, who are you?
No, I feel like there's a better one that's kind of more girly. I don't know, six?
Clueless.
Huh?
Clueless. Like it has a full start. And everyone's like, what the fuck? And it
I
comes
fear
up.
Clueless is the cousin.
Clueless is a cousin.
Wicked. Another contender.
There's a review that like talks about Wicked as a girl boss musical. There's actually a review that talks about girl boss musicals. Let me see if we can find it.
I'm really just trying to see if there's anything jumping out at me.
Okay, so Ben Brantley
Hmm.
said, entertaining in the more earnestly aspirational doings of the heroines in Frozen Anastasia and the ruthless sorority sister founder Wicked.
Hmm. I have a suggestion.
Yeah.
Why am I so single?
Yes.
I feel it kind of fits the vibe of really, what's the word I'm thinking of? Like it's set in a specific time.
Mm-hmm.
Like the opposite of timeless, basically.
Yes.
Timed.
It's so contemporary.
And it's the same thing. I feel like Legally Blonde, the musical, specifically, very early 2000s.
People have said for years that Legally Blonde is a period piece.
Yeah, of the early 2000s. Mean Girls, the musical, specifically, because Mean Girls, the movie, is the same. But Mean Girls, the musical, specifically, 2010s.
Oh my God, it's so like the movie
It's so 2010s.
movie is timeless in a way the musical is not.
Yeah, the musical, 2010s. Why am I so single? I feel still gives us that kind of pop vibe, but is very 2020.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
I feel like it's a contender.
I feel like we put some contenders out there. If anyone has any thoughts, let us know. We'll be willing to hear them. One of the things, so now Benjamin will go on to say, one of the things that we were really happy to do on Legally Blonde was turn Vivian around a bit. Instead of reflecting on the female characters in Legally Blonde, turning one against another is a strong theme in Mean Girls. It's true that you have an economy of scarcity and people should be binding together at the end instead of fighting up. I went to an all-girls school, so I experienced a certain amount of psychological warfare growing up, she added with a laugh. And isn't that right? I was literally talking about the psychological warfare of being a teenage girl yesterday.
Oh yeah.
Because someone at my big age is still acting like that. And we were going, girl, get a grip.
I nearly fought with my housemate over this
Yeah.
because he was watching Yellow Jackets.
Okay, I've not seen that, but I've heard very good things.
I love Yellow Jackets.
Seems like something you'd be into.
Thank you.
What the whole premise of a plane crash and then survival.
I know. Um, but a very big thing when you read a lot of the like development stuff around it is them being like, this isn't just a like gender bent Lord of the Flies.
Yeah.
That is not what this is.
No.
This is very much about like girlhood.
Yes.
The toxicity of it.
Yes.
And how that manifests
Yes.
outside, like in a disaster situation.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, yes, I love this. Like, I love Yellow Jackets for a lot of reasons. And that kind of aspect of it is one of them.
Mm-hmm.
And he was just pissing me off the way he was talking about it. Because he was like, yeah, it's about how, like, I think he genuinely said it's about how stupid girls would be in the wilderness. And I was like, can you?
Bro, I don't think men could actually survive being a teenage girl for one day. And I mean that with full sincerity. Like, it's hell.
Fucking luck.
As a former teenage girl, it's hell.
I was once telling the boys I lived with, I was like, we were talking about fighting with this specific housemate. And I said, I think he forgets that I could be a mean girl.
Yeah.
And they're like, no, you couldn't. You're so nice. I'm like, thank you so much. I've worked really hard to build that persona.
Yeah.
I could bully.
Yeah.
I could be a bully very easily.
It's so easy.
It's so easy. Oh my God, and it's fun. That's the worst part about it, is it's fucking fun.
It's so deeply programmed into all of us because we all get to a certain, this is what we were saying, we're like, we get to a certain age where it's like, I feel very, like, that's the other thing. Being a teenager is so fucking awkward.
Yeah.
Like, being a teenager, really fucking awkward. And, like, you're so uncomfortable for, like, so many years that you just feel you'd have to place it somewhere. And so often it's just on anyone around you.
It's the second you kind of get to a point where you realize, oh, actually, I can make other people feel worse than I feel, so therefore I'm doing fine.
Yeah.
And you start doing it.
Yeah.
It is really fun. It is watching the light leave their eyes. Oh my God.
I'd like it to be known Nell wasn't a bully in high school.
I wasn't a bully. I was bullied.
Guys, if you couldn't tell,
couldn't tell we were bullied.
I was thinking about some of the shit that was just like said to me offhandedly, and I was like, that's psychological.
It's crazy. We were pretty nice girls.
Yes. Yeah. No, I know the two people you're on about.
Definitely, at the very least, more on the side of being bullied than being bullies.
Yes. But again, I think that's one of the things that Mean Girls is able to capture really well, of like that very like the like grey space that all teenage girls kind of live in.
Yeah.
That's the thing, like sometimes I'll be doing something and I'm like, wait, why am I still doing it? And I'll just have like a moment of, oh God, that's why I do that. Yeah, no, I've got to stay doing that. Not on the hands of now, I'd like everyone to know that.
No, I only bully her now.
That's now that I've got a backbone. Like now I'm like,
she bullies me back. Let's be clear. She bullies me back.
Let's be clear here. It's mutual. Like sometimes I think back to stuff and I'm like, oh my God, like if I hadn't had a backbone, I could have been a monster. My high school experience is so intrinsic to Mean Girls the musical.
I truly believe Esme would have had a very different high school experience without Mean Girls.
Yeah, without Mean Girls musical, I would have had a very different high school experience.
I actually believe me and Esme may not have been friends if not for me. Which is incredible.
That's the shit of it. I'm not even fucking joking with you.
I wish you were back in your London house with the fucking Mean Girls.
With the signed Mean Girls Broadway poster behind me. At the moment, it's just Taylor Swift and Dolly Parton.
When Esme went to New York, she brought me back 2 programs.
Playbills.
One of the play. I'm sorry, she brought me back two playbills. One of them was a Beetlejuice one because I love Beetlejuice. The other one,
No, okay, so the Mean Girls one, fun story behind that. My dad picked up off the floor and was like, "Do you want this?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." Forgot I had it, and then we became friends. And I was like, "Oh, do you want this?" And you were like, "Yeah, sure. It's a playbill. I want a playbill." And that's how you ended up with it.
we have a really deep and meaningful friendship.
Yeah, we go back decades,
Decades.
decades. Our minds were too on the same frequency that we had to be kept apart.
Yeah. Like how I said, I think I'd be normal if I saw Phantom of the Opera when I
Phantom.
was like 14.
Yeah.
I think if me and Esme had been allowed to be friends from like 12 years old,
Oh,
we'd be, no,
it
I think we would be worse.
would be so much worse. Long story.
Well,
It's like so much history that it's like not even like worth getting into here. Like I can't. And the stories I could tell and it's like the giggles we could all be having right now. But I like my piece too much and never want to speak to them ever again.
the only thing you need to know is that a guy who's, kind of on the
He
outskirts
is
of
like the
this
Damien in this situation, kind
still
of.
has Esme
Still
blocked
has me blocked.
of this friendship.
Because of the shit that they would pull and I would be dragged into. And
You know
every
what? I will go a step further. This guy still has Esme blocked because of Mean Girls the musical.
don't think it's got anything to do with Mean Girls the musical. No, like every so often Mel will be like, "Oh, have you seen what this person posted?" No, they have me blocked from when we were
Nope.
13 and in some petty argument about the way that someone looked at another person in period 5 science class.
It's great. It's so funny as well because I actually constantly want to talk to you about the things this guy is posting, and I can't because he has you blocked.
And I think if he knew he had me blocked, he'd be like, "What the fuck do I have you blocked?"
I'm so close to DMing him and being like, "Can you please unblock Esme?" Like, it's actually vital for our friendship that you unblock Esme.
Why? He's a chill guy. Just has me blocked.
He's lovely. In fact,
Oh,
the thing I
fucking
find most ridiculous about this is that for our last 2 years of high school, we
were
would
all
chill with
we
him,
were so chill with him.
we would hang out with him, and he still had you blocked.
He still had me blocked because he didn't know he had me blocked. We didn't know. It wasn't until like last year when you were like, "Oh, look on his Insta," and I was like, "Wait, why isn't he coming up?" Has me blocked.
What a guy.
He's so funny. I was just thinking about
He's so lovely as well.
something.
But
But he has me blocked.
anyways, I promise all of this is relevant backstory for
Back
our thoughts on Mean Girls the musical.
my psychosis around Mean Girls the musical. It is deeply personal to me in a really weird way. But like, I'll talk about it when I went to go see the movie because it's weird how my relationship with it has evolved. And there was a part of
Yeah.
me when I was doing these notes and having spent like as long of a time thinking about Mean Girls the musical in this retrospective way, where I was like getting kind of freaked out. I was like, oh, I don't know what to do. It would officially open on the 8th of April 2018 after playing 29 preview performances. Reviews. Ben Brantley for the New York Times would say, "Let me say up front, if you are asking me to choose among the healthy lineup of gal power musicals now exerting their lungs in Broadway, you would have to count me on Team Regina. I hasten to add that I am not quite endorsing the cruising elite's behavior of Regina George, a teen clique queen embodied here in Red Leather or Pink Hot Coolness by Taylor Louderman. I was once a public high school student myself and withered painfully breath the long, glossy talons of many a Regina. But the jokes, poses, and puts down that Regina delivers in and inspires in others this musical adapted from the 2004 film are a lot more entertaining than the honestly aspirational doings of the heroines of Frozen, Anastasia, and their deathless sorority sister, Wicked. It's because of Regina and her frenemies converse in a dialogue with the peerless comic writer Tina Fey. I'll talk more about Tina Fey and how she's just able to capture the absurdity of being a teenage girl so well. The creator of the dearly departed television series 30 Rock, Saturday Night Live alumni, sometime movie star and best-selling essayist, Miss Fey is one of the most appealing satirical sensibilities on offer. Her wit, catalytic and polite, stirring and soothing at once, though the sharpness that lingers afterwards. Fans of the movie will be happy to learn that Miss Fey's script for the protracted stage incarnation, which features song by Jeff Richmond and Nell Benjamin, with the direction and choreography by Casey Nicholaw, remains often quoted catchwords and quips of the original. Early into the show, the character says "fetch" and negotiatism for cool. The audience are chuckling before she gets to the final ch. As for me, I was laughing guiltily before the show had started, gazing on stage at the wallpaper, which featured yearbook photos representing the title character's so-called burn book, which figures as a crucial plot point. These images portray of class portraits are decorated with cruel phrases like "if cornflakes were a person," and only here because his mum slept with the coach. No, the trouble lies here in the less assured translation of Miss Fey's sly tale of adolescence, social angst into a crowd-pleasing song and dance. Mr. Richmond and Miss Benjamin, many musical numbers are passable middle-of-the-road Broadway standards, though Miss Benjamin's shoehorned rhymes do not bear close examination. Yet they rarely capture the tone or the time of the certain era. A couple of songs tilt their caps to Katy Perry / Pink-style ballads of empowerment, It Roars and Fearless. But they lack that energizing pop snap you long for. A rap number for a party sequence is embarrassing, not only because it intended to be. By the end, when the feuding students learn their errors of diverging ways, a volume of hymns and outfit take over. Only the occasional number, like What's Wrong With Me, the creed de force of insecurity, effectively performed by Ashley Park, offers essential insight into the characters and propels the plot. These songs are why the show waits in at 2.5 hours, as opposed to the movie's zippy 97 minutes. And often I've sensed that that character has feeling a song coming on, a grumpy voice in me mumbled, "Oh, I wish you didn't." As long as they're talking, the leading students of Mean Girls exude an idiosyncratic, carefully exaggerated, ironic charm. You have to hand it to the designer-grabbed deports of the title. Latimer's Regina, Miss Park's terminally insecure Gretchen, and Kate Rockwell's terminally stupid Karen. There are Geeks and Freaks Misfits, Gray Henson's almost too gay to function as Damien, and Barrett Wilbert Weed's deadpan goth girl Janice. Kerry Butler is very funny, as a variety of grown-up parts included being portrayed by Miss Fey and Amy Poehler in the film. I agree, Ben Brantley as a grown woman. I would have fought him on that when I was 13, but thank God I'm not 13 anymore.
Yep.
Variety would say director-choreographer Casey Nicholaw, 9/10 direction, 6/10 choreography, gets this material. The stage whirls in non-stop traffic, not so well executed dance movement, and Greg Burns' costumes comes in vivid crashing colours. The staging is actually too busy, too colourful, too loud, as if Nicholaw doesn't want us to notice that there is not much of interest happening. As far as the story is concerned, Fey is faithful in her own original movie scenario, and those mean girls that who rule that low society known as high school, and Katie Heron, a likable and watchable Erica Henningsen, a transfer student from Kenya who finds herself in a different kind of jungle. Fey has front-loaded the show with great gags, of course, like the course Health and Human Sexuality, taught by Coach Carr, who informs the class that this fall we're going to be doing the state-required unit on abstinence, and in the spring we're going to do condoms and nutrition. Fey has thrown in a lot of snappy one-liners that work, like one student's fond description of her best friend as almost too gay to function. Nell Benjamin's lyrics aren't half as clever as Fey's one-off wisecracks, but they get the job done and are quirky enough to make you listen to the hard for the good stuff, providing payoff in the lyrics that earn your attention. For example, the passage in Where Do You Belong, a song that good guys Janice, likable Barrett Wilbert Weed, and Damien, lovable Gray Henson, sing to Katie as if they are on tour of the cafeteria looking at the crowd. Varsity jocks and JV jocks will throw you in the locker if you say hello. The rich stoners hate the gangster whites, which they're all smoking the same oregano. The smart song takes careful care of every critique in the school, which is pretty good for one number. Despite Katie's fine mind and And Henningsen's quick wit, the good girls aren't half as much fun as bad girls. So, Regina and Louderman with this competition win no matter what the book says. Synopsis. Long one today.
No.
Blame Tina Fey.
Katie Heron may have grown up on an African savanna. Nothing prepared her for the vicious ways of her strange new home, suburban Illinois. Soon, this naive newbie falls prey to a trio of lionized frenemies led by the charming but ruthless Regina George. But when Katie devises a plan to end Regina's reign, she learns the hard way that you can't cross a queen bee without getting stung.
Yep.
Yeah.
That is Mean Girls.
I mean, I think the issue with a Mean Girls synopsis, it's Mean Girls.
It's Mean Girls.
We know what it's about.
We all know it. The kids know it begrudgingly. I feel like they weren't ready to know Mean Girls in the way that we received Mean Girls. I think it was a bit too above their pay grade. I would like to say something about Tina Fey and the book.
Okay. I have a story I'd like to share afterwards.
I'm gonna let you share your story afterwards, okay? I want to get out some actual...
Get the serious bit out the way.
Get the serious bit out the way. Tina Fey's... I heard Tina Fey described on TikTok this week as having pop culture brain. She knows when to use a reference, and she knows how to use it well, and she knows she's very culturally literate. And it works for a musical where she has gone in and updated the script in the last 6 months. And both times I have seen Mean Girls on stage, she has updated the script in the last 6 months. So every time I've seen it, I've been like, wow, Tina Fey's script is actually exceptional. She is... She knows the true insanity of being a teenage girl. Like, and I feel like it's got to the point now where we've all sat around and talked to it too much, where it's like that almost, it's that Virgin Suicides clip where Cecilia goes, Cecilia's the first one to die. Yes, I do like the Virgin Suicides. Who would have thought?
No one is shocked.
No one is shocked. Gasp, no one. Where she goes, well, Doctor, you just haven't tried being a teenage girl. But has she actually said that? Because the whole story is told from the boy's perspective. So think on that, guys. But like, being a teenage girl is hell, but it's also fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
Like, the insanity and hijinks. I wouldn't even say hijinks. Like, just the insanity of what comes out of your mouth with a whole entire seriousness is exceptional. Like, oh my God, if I could go back and like not be a part of it and just record what some people would just say.
Sometimes my younger sister, I'll like overhear her talking to her friends. Or sometimes she'll call me and she'll be like complaining about someone. And it takes so much effort not to laugh. But so I'm like, I get that you are 17 years old and this is like, this has been going on for a few, like, she's not doing it as much now that she's 17, but a couple of years ago, I was like, you know what, I get that you're, like, 15 years old, and this is, like, the most important thing in the world to you right now, that your friend is being a bitch to you.
Yeah.
But, oh my God, it's hilarious to realise what I have sounded like for the past, like, 10 years.
The way that you guys are deciding to be a bitch to each other is, like, it's in the details. It's very much like, I'm going to tell you this very specific thing about you that no one else will ever notice, but I'm going to make you notice it and I'm going to make you care about it. It's like that thing of like what Regina says to Gretchen every so often, but she just kind of like throws out something and she says it and like Gretchen's kind of like, okay. And that's what makes What's Wrong With Me such like an emotionally resonant moment of the show, I think universally. That very specific experience of people having like something picked out about them and being like, oh, okay, so do I change now?
I truly think that a very intrinsic part of being a teenage girl is basically everyone always trying to get one up.
Yes.
So it does not matter how good friends you are. Like, I have this very clear memory of being on the tube with one of my friends. and talking, just having a very normal conversation with teenage girls. We're
Yeah.
talking about our periods
Yes.
and just whatever.
That whole thing of who's got their period first.
Yeah, oh my God.
Like, who cares?
Um,
They suck.
who fucking cares? We were talking about it, and it was a thing at the time. I didn't really get what she was trying to do. And I'm not even, to this day, I'm not even sure if she got what she was trying to do, but it's what she was trying to do. My friend goes, we're talking about like symptoms of periods and how much it sucks.
Mhm.
And this girl goes, yeah, I guess bloating would suck, but I just think like when I'm bloated, I'm probably the same, like your guys' normal size.
Yes.
Hilarious.
Yes.
You're
Yes.
that small and petite that being bloated on your period makes you normal size. Oh, should we tell Bella Hadid? Should we call her up?
People Bella? No, it's like,
You are the ideal girl. Oh
oh
my
my
God.
God. Oh my God, you're so small and petite. I can't even see
How do
you.
you not have a boyfriend?
Oh,
Like,
you can eat that pizza, but you can't eat the full size because you're so small and petite. Oh,
and I understand we are being bitchy teenage girls right now in that response, but it's so funny.
so fucking funny. It's so fucking
Like
funny.
the things people will say, full serious.
I was once told that I was holding a crisp packet wrong and I should change that, and I think about that regularly. Because the
It's
older and older I get,
incredible.
the more I'm like, what the fuck was I doing taking that seriously? It really doesn't matter.
It's the thing, like, I had a teenage boy, he did this thing in French class. And I will never forget this. This ruined my life.
I know.
And ironically, this ruined my life. We're in French class, and he says, Nell, can you like tie your hair back for a second?
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, yeah, whatever. I tie it back. He looks at me, he nods and goes, yeah, you have massive fucking ears.
I have the story before. Little shit.
Audience, I shit you not. I did not start wearing my hair up again until about 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Not even that, a year ago, probably.
Yeah.
When I stopped cutting it to like jaw length.
Yeah.
I had short hair for most of my life.
You did.
Um, and many people were shocked I was a lesbian, which is incredible when you think about it. But yeah, teenage boys will say things to you like that, but they have like clearly sat down, like having to ask me to tie my hair back. I know now that this guy had probably been sitting there for like a week thinking, how can I tear this girl down? How can
He
I
was
make her think badly of herself?
no, I genuinely just think he was just like, I'm bored, let me just see what I can do.
But the idea of like asking me to do it, I think he truly put thought into what he was going to do, what he was
Yeah,
going to say.
yeah.
A teenage girl, you could walk into a room
Mm.
and someone would just be like, you stand odd,
Yes.
and then go back to a different conversation. You'd be like, okay, let's fix how I stand. Let's rethink
What?
how I stand for the rest of my life.
I stand with? No, it was like, okay, so I'm severely dyslexic. I've not lied about that. I've said that phrase. And boys have come up to me and been like, can you read? And it's like, yes, I can read.
Yeah.
We're in year nine. I can read. Whereas girls would be like, wow, you actually passed that test? It was really hard. Good on you. It's like, okay, can you guys just call me dumb? Can you just say I
Someone
can't
once said
read?
I drank from a water bottle in an odd way. And trust me, guys, I feel self-conscious every time I drink from my water bottle now.
A crisp packet? I'm
I
like,
really think about it.
how do I hold this in a way that won't offend someone who I don't want to talk to ever again?
Exactly.
It's like,
It's so, and you can always tell they're not thinking about it.
no. Someone once looked at me and went, you should get more hobbies. And I was like,
They're kind of right.
no, no,
Let's
no,
be clear,
no,
they're
no.
kind of right.
I think I have too many. That's my issue. I have too many hobbies. That's right now. Here's the thing. I was like 13. Someone just looked at me and went, you should get more hobbies. You don't do enough. And I was like, what? What the hell?
The thing is, the reason I know for sure when girls are saying these things to each other, they're not like thinking about it. Like they're not trying to make you feel. Well, they are.
They
They're
are.
not actually putting effort into it.
Yeah.
Is that I, with almost 100% certainty, I am sure that I have said something like that to people,
Oh yeah.
probably to my friends.
Oh yeah.
I could not tell you. I don't remember. And I'm sure if I went up to any of the people that said these things to me, they'd be like, "What are you talking about?
What are you talking about?
When did I ever say that?"
When did I ever say that? Yeah.
If I went up to this boy who told me my ears were massive, I'm sure he would remember it. I'm
Yeah.
sure he'd be like, "Yeah, I did say that."
Does.
Not even that. I was fucking hilarious.
No, yeah, you probably find it funny. It or it's like that thing of like sometimes I read something out in drama class and be like, you did a really good job at that. That must have been really hard for you. It's like,
Okay.
what do I do now? Or like you wrote that really well. That must have been really hard for you. Guys, I can write, right? I'd like everyone to know I can. I'd much rather you just call me illiterate at this point.
And I think what Mean Girls the musical and Mean Girls the movie does very well is that when you are watching it as a teenage girl, you are
Yeah.
like, they understand this. Like, look at how evil these girls are. And it's still kind of funny, but
Yes.
it's like, this is real teenhood.
This is
When
real.
you watch it the second you hit like 20, and you're
Right.
like, oh my God, this shit is hilarious.
Bro, I've told you about a moment I had recently where I was like, Lena Dunham needs to get her ass in this room right now and take a note because this is fucking hilarious. I think I have a lot more self-awareness of when I'm doing something absolutely ridiculous right now
Yeah.
to be like, Lena, get on the horn. Um, but like
Can I
when
tell
I
a
was,
story?
you can tell your story. I'm gonna play Homescapes because I've lived it.
I just want to say that I do truly believe that this story is kind of the epitome of being so ridiculous fully seriously as a teenage girl.
There's such an earnestness to being a teenage girl, and I think that's kind of what it captures so well in Gretchen of just like, this is my life. This means so much to me, and this is kind of what I've become accustomed
Yeah,
to.
like the
So I,
true belief that this is what your life is. It's never going to be any different. So you
like,
have to do it the best you possibly can right now. It's like, girl, you are 15.
girl, you are 15 years
You're
old.
gonna be fine.
This is all going to be over one day, actually quite soon, and then you're going to go, huh, what the fuck was that?
What the hell was I doing
Guys,
in high school? I just want to tell you guys kind of closing of the chapter of that period of Esme's life.
yeah.
New Year's Eve, 2019.
Mm-hmm.
It's the end of a decade.
But the start of an age.
2020,
Shit, yeah.
yeah. 2020 is going to be our year. We're making all these
We
plans.
I have a video on my phone of us saying that.
Oh, I definitely do too. I'm not even joking. I think we play beer pong on
We
Esme's dining room table.
did. Yeah.
This happens at Esme's house, by the way.
Yeah.
Me, Esme.
Oh, I found photos.
Me, Esme. Our other ex-best friend, who we used to be in a trio with.
Long story, guys. We're not getting into it.
My other ex-best friend, who I was in a different trio with. We were still kind of friends at this point, but kind of not.
Again, deep intense times. Oh, and your
And then
ex.
my ex-girlfriend, who, yes, at the time was my ex-girlfriend. We
Yeah,
had already broken up at this point.
they had.
We were just hanging out together.
They like out of all of them, all the three people you just listed, probably the one I hang out with.
Yeah. Not me.
Obviously, you. Like out of the three people you just listed.
Well, I listed 4 people, so
Well, not you, obviously.
you wouldn't hang out with me.
You know it's a fat fucking lie. What am I gonna do? Hang out with fucking Maria?
Oh my God, this is when you still have brown hair and a side part. Oh my
Brown
God.
hair, side part, braces, fucking loser.
We're gonna have to come up with fake names for these guys. Okay, let's use Mean Girls names.
Okay, sure. They weren't actually Mean Girls.
Our ex-best friend,
Mhm.
she'll be Regina
Sure.
for no particular reason.
She wasn't actually that much of a mean girl.
She was actually quite nice some of the time, but
It was like we stopped being friends
This, by the way, is a different ex-friend than the one that used to bully us.
Oh, I haven't spoken to that bitch since 2020.
We will get into that. She is a part of the story. Our ex-best friend shall be Regina.
Mhm.
My ex-girlfriend shall be Karen.
Yeah. So funny.
And the other one, my other ex-best friend from a different trio, shall be Gretchen. So it was me, Esme, Regina, Karen, and Gretchen.
Yep. And I think Gretchen was the one who
We think Gretchen was probably the one to suggest
it
this.
sounds like something they would say. Like, because they were very much like, I am kind of better than all of you, I'm more cultured than all of you, and it's like, we are all 15, calm down.
Oh, can I? She said one of the funniest things ever to me.
And
Like at a completely different
I
time,
missed
and I
her
think
16th birthday because I had a stomach bug. And it was also the same day that Sophia and Caruso left Beetlejuice.
it was insane. Um, Anyways, it's the kind of thing Gretchen would suggest. And she suggests that we all kind of pick a song that we think sums up our last decade. And we play it and we explain why we picked it to everyone. And then we can leave this decade behind and move into the new one.
It was like our first time drinking as well.
Well, for you.
For me. We've got to speed this up.
I have no idea what I played, but it was probably a musical song. In fact, it was probably Home from Beetlejuice, if I'm being completely honest.
Something from Beetlejuice because you were like you were still pissed as shit at Hades Town for winning all of the awards over over.
No, you know what? I still fucking stand it. Beetlejuice should have gotten best set.
Yeah.
I've seen Hades Town now. Beetlejuice should have gotten best set.
No, but you were still very much like, why didn't even like Sophia and Caruso get a best actress nom?
Listen, when you're a teenage girl, you are just ridiculous, but with full sincerity.
Aww.
And for me, that was truly believing that Beetlejuice should have swept at the Tonys.
Over Hades. Well, it was also like, we don't like Hades Town.
We hate Hades Town. Beetlejuice should sweep.
I never hated Hades Town. I just didn't get it. So it's dumb.
Yeah.
So when I say like I'm dumb, I didn't get Hades Town. Like this is But I was also like,
you should have swept at the Tonys.
I was like, I understand something about George. No, bitch, you don't. No,
you don't. No idea what Gretchen would end up picking.
Oh, who knows, man? I have a feeling it was an Adele.
It was probably an Adele song. No fucking clue what Regina picked.
Probably
it could be quite literally anything in the world.
It could be anything.
It could be anything in the world.
I'm proud of myself that I didn't like actually pick Superboy and the Invisible Girl.
I'm sure it was close.
Oh, I'm sure I had that debate in my head when I was a bit while I was drunk for the first time, being like, do I play Superboy?
So yeah, Esme's drunk. She thinks so. And she's like, here's my song. And she presses play on Spotify.
Yeah. My mum's Spotify account, not my own, because I didn't have my own.
Her mother's Spotify account.
Yeah.
And what starts playing? I'd Rather Be Me from Me Music.
Hey, this Italian woman.
So your best friend screwed you over? It's a nice one. She not nice. And anytime someone brings up Mean Girls, whenever Esme is recording from London, in the back of her camera view, she has a signed Mean Girls poster on her wall.
Yeah, I do.
And every time I see it, guess what I fucking think of? Her downstairs in her kitchen, belting out "I'd Rather Be Me" on New Year's Eve 2019.
We were sat around. We were trying I was in the trenches trying to buy Hades Town tickets. You know, and now just had a vacant look in her eyes and was staring at the poster. And I
was reminiscing. Yeah. Anyways, that's my story about Mean Girls, and it is kind of the defining thing of Mean Girls for me. It is literally all I think about when I think of Mean Girls.
I joke that I'm a Mean Girls completionist.
Okay.
Because I've seen it on Broadway. I've seen the movie. and I've seen it on the West End. I've spent so much of my time formally seeing Mean Girls, like sitting down. I saw Mean Girls in the cinema. And when I saw it, it was the first time I'd really revisited it since I was like 15 in like a true meaningful way. And I I went with someone. I went with someone I went to high school with. Um, and they were like, "Oh, were you thinking about like your own high school experiences while you were watching it?" And I was like, "No, I was actually just thinking about myself and like how do I feel about this now and how I can almost for the first time in my life see it for what it truly is. You know? Like I can see this for the first time in forever. I can remove myself and my life from it for to a degree where I can see the holes now because I'd already come to the conclusion that it wasn't very like the music wasn't amazing. I stand by the fact that World Burn is a completely banger of a tune. How many good songs in Mean Girls the musical?
Oh my God. When
Mm.
Mariah Rose Faith was in it.
I forgot Mariah Rose Faith was in it and she had a Broadway.com vlog.
Yeah. Sorry, 2022.
Her and Renee Rapp
Yeah.
were Regina at the same time.
Yeah. And Sabrina Carpenter was
We're
Katie
gonna
for a
talk
bit
about we're
at the
gonna
same
talk
time.
about Renee Rapp, we're gonna talk about Sabrina Carpenter, we're gonna talk about Cameron Dallas.
My God, we actually had so many conversations about musicals. It's hilarious.
Well, yeah, no shit.
I was talking about Mean Girls being in the pipeline. It wasn't, guys.
It kind of was.
No, it was a result of the pipeline. It
Yes,
wasn't part of
100%.
it.
Let's get
Let's
back
be
to our roots.
fucking clear here.
Let's get back to our
Mean
roots.
Girls is not a part of the pipeline.
I mean, Girls is not, but like it kind of it came about at the perfect time, if that makes sense. It's not like being more chill, which the pipeline catapulted it to Broadway. It was always going to come to Broadway. It just gained this fan base through it. Because people still talk about the shit that happened online when Mean Girls was on. And we'll talk about one of them in a minute.
4th of September 2023.
Oh my God, I was so grown.
This was a big day for you, actually.
What happened that day? What year was it?
Okay. 2023.
I was at university. Go to
Yep.
class.
Um, the day before, we're talking about the Mean Girls musical movie.
I had many thoughts documented here on this very podcast.
Yep. Um, and then we're talking about this podcast.
Mhm.
We stop talking. We're talking about beautiful ghosts. The conversation ends.
As
The next day,
we often are, we are always talking
as
about
you often are, you text me at 4:30 p.m. the next day. There is no lead up to this. This is the first text you sent me in the day.
yeah.
I think Mean Girls might be a bad musical.
Yeah.
What was
Well,
I thinking at 13?
I vividly remember being sat there at like remember I was sat in my old flat in the living room and I was just sat there and I was like, I'm listening to Mean Girls with all this like movie tab happening. And I pressed play and I got halfway through Cautionary Tale and I was like, oh, this is bad. Oh, this is like bad. And I was like, no, I like Worldbound. And then I got to Worldbound and I was like, no, this is good. And then like I
And
got
then
to
also
yeah.
that text of you being like, I think Mean Girls is a bad musical. Um, I feel like we have talked about this on the podcast because it would make sense for us to.
Hmm.
I said, this is real. I was waiting for you to realize.
Yes.
I have spent maybe I'd say 5 years ever since Esme used a Mean Girl song to define her decade.
Yeah.
About 5 years now, um, kind of staying away from talking about what I think about Mean Girls at
Outside
risk of offending Esme.
outside of Mariah Rose Faith is in it.
You know, being like, I think some of the, if I liked a song, I would say it.
Well, do you agree that Well Bad is a good song?
Well Done is a fucking great song. There are other songs on Mean Girls that I like.
Mm-hmm. Name them.
None are coming to mind right now, but
I like What's Wrong With Me. I don't listen to it often, but like I think it's a good song narrative
I
wise.
like Sexy. Sexy's a fun song.
Sexy's hilarious, and every Halloween I just kind of have to play it.
Yeah, obviously.
I don't play it. I don't
Um,
go around playing Mean Girls at parties anymore. I'm grown.
no, we've moved on from that.
No,
But
I
yeah,
instead make long playlists to play at prees that include always include "Hope is a dangerous thing for a woman like me to have," but I have it.
this is the thing. This is how a lot of the conversations about Mean Girls me and Esme had would sound like. Where it'd be Esme being like, and I like this song, and I like this
Like,
song, and I think this song's good. And I'd be like, mm-hmm,
well, that's good.
yeah, well done's really good. And I like Sexy. Anyways,
Um,
let's move on to something else. And then Esme texts me like, I think it might be a bad music. I'm like, fucking finally.
Thank God, she's done it.
That's my thing is I actually don't have any bad thoughts about it.
Mm,
You know, I just kind of don't care for it.
mm.
Also, you did also text me on this day and said I just had a come to Jesus moment. Do I need to take down my poster?
I'm genuinely thinking about taking it down. I don't think I'd ever get rid of it, but I think I might swap it out for my Natasha Pierre and the Great Compliment one.
That would be fun. What the fuck was I listening to where I would say that? Oh my god, this is us watching Nerdy Prudes.
Oh my God, is Cinderella Castle out?
Huh?
Cinderella's Castle out?
Yeah, it's out. Cinderella's Castle came out, by the way, guys. We haven't mentioned it because we haven't watched it.
I don't want that. I was
It's
busy
out.
that day. I was drunk. Guys, I was on a fucking amazing bender. I wouldn't recommend going on a bender, but if you have to, it's fun.
I don't know what song this is us talking about. Oh, I actually know exactly what song this is me talking about. From Nerdy Prudes Must Die, Go Go Nighthawks, whatever the fuck
Yeah.
that song's called.
Yeah.
I simply said as we were watching it, actually this song is so fearless from Mean Girls Core,
Yes.
which is true.
Fearless isn't a good song.
31st of October 2023. I'm in the fucking queue for the Mean Girls pre-sale.
I was curious about the ticket prices because everyone around me kept saying to me, like, oh, are you gonna like, are you so excited? And I was like, no, I'm not. And I didn't know how to explain it to them.
When Toby texted you and said they're playing Mr. Perfectly Fine at Mean Girls.
I had questions, and I still do. Stay the fuck away from Taylor Allison Swift.
12th of September 2024. Feeling so mentally ill, I bought a ticket to Mean Girls tonight.
Yes! I want to talk about that actually because I was wearing this exact outfit. Right. That day I saw Mean Girls on the West End. You might be like, Esme, you have a weird relationship with this. Why have you seen it so much? One, we covered it, I was 13 years old.
She had to be sure that it was bad.
Two, when I saw the movie, I was hungover and my friend was visiting. And so I didn't really want to do the sights all day. And so I was like, should we go watch a film? Mean Girls was on, you know? Three, when I saw the musical, now I'd like to paint a picture of where I was when I bought my ticket for the musical and why I sent now that text being like, I'm so mentally ill right now.
Mhm.
I was sat in one of my least favorite areas of the whole entire world, London Bridge. I was on a 2-day hangover. I sat there wearing this exact outfit I am now, funnily enough. And I was sat on a bench looking out at HMS Belfast. And I was back in London for one of my least favourite things ever. I'd been taken away from a week of partying to go to 2 appointments about my teeth. My fucking teeth. And I had to return to somewhere where I had been a patient when I was 4, and I have very vivid memories of it, and I don't want to talk about it anymore. And I was by myself because my mummy couldn't come with me, and also I'm grown. And so I said to cheer me up, I was going to buy myself a theatre ticket. And all the rush tickets sold out for Hello Dolly. And I was thinking,
It was a dark time.
it was a dark, dark time. I'm sat there, 10 a.m. on a fucking Thursday. about to go sit in a waiting room which hasn't been decorated since 2008 at the NHS. Can you please give that place some more budget to redecorate? I have vivid flashbacks every single time I go back there because I have to go back there as a grown-ass adult, and suddenly I'm 4 years old again and I'm going, where's my mummy? I hate it. I hate it so much. I hate that area of London. The only reason I would ever go to that area of London again is into the woods. So I would have gone to see Guys and Dolls, but I was going, I can't go back here twice in one day. I'll kill myself. And what's playing? I can't go see Hadestown again. That would be my fifth time, and 5 times is a lot.
Mm-hmm. How many times have you seen it now?
5. We're not going to talk about that. That was a special occasion, okay?
Okay.
Amber Gray, even Obzala, and Andrea Shields were there. I had to go. And I was sat there. And I was thinking, what has rush tickets? Mean Girls. Fuck it. I'll go see Mean Girls. That'll be funny. Tina Fey's funny. So I bought myself a ticket to Mean Girls. And then I had to go up to, like, I don't know. I want to really dox myself and where you can find me if I'm having a bad day. And then someone was playing Diet Pepsi by Addison Rae in the waiting room out loud.
What?
And I had to plead my case about why they should give me a fake tooth. I didn't really have to. They were like, "Yeah, we're gonna give you one," but I was kind of like, "Yeah." They were like, "When did it fall out?" And I was like, "It wasn't. You guys took it out right here."
Actually, right where I'm sat right now, you guys
Actually,
took
no,
it out. So
literally, like I was in one of these rooms and then I was put to sleep and then I woke up and you guys had stolen my teeth.
it's actually fully on you.
Guys, this sounds like a you issue, not a me issue. I was 4 years
sounds
old.
like something that is your responsibility to fix.
This is your responsibility to fix. And then I went to go see Mean Girls, and there were 2 kind of drunk American ladies sat next to me who I made conversation with at the interval. Guys, I love talking to random Americans when I'm at shows by myself. It's happened to me like 3 times.
I don't go to shows by myself enough to be making conversations with random American ladies.
Yeah. A cabaret, I was boots on the ground reporting. Who the fuck is buying a ticket this expensive?
The American tourists.
American tourists, because it's cheaper than Broadway. And I went, you know what, facts. And they were like, oh my
There's
God.
one show over here that is cheaper on Broadway for some reason. Anyways, enough on that.
Anyway, so that's why I went to go see Mean Girls. Anyway, let's talk about the 2018 Tony Awards.
Ah,
I know. At the Tony Awards, it would be famously nominated for 12 Tonys, being Best Actress in a Lead Role in a Musical for Taylor Lautner, Best Actor in a Featured Role for Grey Hansen, Best Featured Actress for Ashley Park, Best Book of a Musical for Tina Fey, Best Choreographer for Casey Nicholaw, Best Costume Design, Best Director, Best Musical, Best Orchestrations, Best Original Score, Best Scenic Design, and Best Sound Design. Famously.
This is my thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
I did not fucking deserve all those. Some of them I really get.
Like, Taylor Lautner, 100%. Grey Hansen, 100%. Ashley Park, Tina Fey. I think Tina Fey should have won for the Book of Mean Girls. I'm going to be so real with you.
Honestly, yeah.
Choreography, yeah, sure. Best original score and best orchestrations, was it really that bad of a year? Yes, actually it was, because Cursed Child
up the 2018 text.
Cursed Child got a nomination for.
Can I just say, based on the news today, fuck J.K. Rowling.
Oh yeah, always.
You know, usually I'm not this overt about it. I hope you kill yourself.
I hope that black mold does actually kill you.
I hope the black mold kills you. And if it doesn't, I hope you kill yourself.
Yeah.
Oh my God, this was a SpongeBob year as well.
Yeah, it was a SpongeBob. It was the Bad's Visit sweep, and we were all pissed about it.
Oh my God, it was the Bad's Visit sweep.
Yeah.
This was a crazy year.
I think some of the music of Bad's Visit is nice. I'm not going to comment on anything else because I actually don't know too much about it.
I thought they had Patti LuPone as a presenter. And Matthew Morrison.
Matty Fresh.
I forget how stacked their presenters are every year.
Yeah.
Ethan Slater introduced SpongeBob SquarePants. Likely thing for him to do.
Guys, Ethan Slater's really good at being SpongeBob.
Nice. Performances.
They did Where Do You Belong, and I hate that I know that off the top of my head.
And Meet the Plastics. Yeah. Actually. Oh my God. Oh, this is when Andrew Garfield won for Angels in America as well.
Yeah, because it was playing across the street from the Mean Girls Theatre.
Yeah, it really was the band visit sweep.
Yeah.
I really forgot about just how much of a sweep it was.
Bands visit all day, every day. That's what the 2018 Tony voters were saying. And then
It's actually ridiculous when you look at it. But then, SpongeBob getting Best Scenic.
makes sense.
Yeah. Lighting went to Band's Visit. And quite obviously from this lineup, should have gone to Once in This Island. Um,
Oh yeah, I loved that production of Once on This Island.
it is so funny. Mean Girls 12 nominations, zero
No wins.
awards. Band's
It's like,
Visit 11 nominations, 10 awards.
was Cursed Child nominated for score that year?
Fast Child for what?
Score?
Not Best Original Score. Angels in America was.
Yes, I knew there was a play in score because it was like a lackluster year for musical score.
Yeah. I mean, Frozen was in there.
Yeah.
I guess that doesn't really count as original score, does it?
Mm. No.
The thing is, okay, Fast Child won for lighting design, and as the resident lighting expert,
Self-appointed.
yeah, yeah, I think it does kind of deserve lighting. It
Mhm.
does a pretty good job of utilizing lighting.
Yeah.
Everything else a bit ridiculous though. Fuck you, J.K. Rowling. Kill yourself.
Always fuck you, J.K. Rowling. I don't get why you give two shits. Um, people, uneducated 13-year-olds on the internet, me, the homies I was chilling with, were pissed. Huh?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Um, Anywho, it's like one of those fun facts, Mean Girls now, how many like nominations it got and how many losses it had. It's yeah. So it's the most it would not win any, making it the most nominated musical never to win a single Tony. So, okay. In May 2019, they would announce that they had cast an unknown Jimmy Award winner, Renee Rapp,
Who?
as Regina George. I don't know, I've never heard of her. Never
Who?
heard of her. No clue. No clue who she is. Never heard of her since. Tina Fey would say.
Anyways, Renee Rapp.
Anyway,
Crazy.
love you, Renee. I actually really love Snow Angel, and I'm actually kind of sad for her next album.
Mm.
I'm really excited for it if it ever comes out. Renee, come on now. I want,
Renee, I've never fucking listened to your music in my life,
yep.
but I love you dearly.
She was
So
my fifth most listened to artist last year. And I was not streaming Mean Girls, I was streaming Snow Angel.
yeah, I love her. Just never fucking listened to her music. Maybe I should.
Maybe you should. It's good.
On my 3 hour coach ride.
Yep. I have a 3 hour coat bag this week, doing a special.
We're going to the same place. Like,
Same. Anywho, they would launch a national tour. Cameron Dallas would also make his Broadway debut in 2020. People still talk about how bad this was.
I do not miss Cameron Dallas on Broadway, if I'm being honest. It was shit.
What is Cameron Dallas doing nowadays? I don't want to know. That's none of my business.
You know what? I absolutely fucking want to know. What is he
Okay,
up to these days?
while you do that, I'll talk about Sabrina Carpenter.
Fuck you.
In
He's
January,
30 years old.
Dallas is 30?
He's 30 years old.
Why am I always so shocked by people's ages?
Okay. Um, I'm not even. He hasn't done anything,
No, he was like he was Madcon, wasn't he?
huh?
He was in Madcon.
I don't think so.
Swear down, he did Madcon. If he didn't do Madcon, then what is his?
The last thing he did was release an album called Dear Scarlet on September 8th, 2020,
Oh, Jesus Christ.
and like nothing since then.
No, I was talking about like back in the day.
No.
I'm looking it up. So they would announce that they recouped in 2020. And then they would announce that it would be becoming a movie again because capitalism. I don't remember what the name of this fucking thing is, but he was in some like weird internet collective that toured around and just took photos of young teenage girls. Not a
Okay.
You
He
know what I
was
mean.
on Awesomeness TV.
Yes, that's what I was on about. He made a terrible movie that was on Netflix. Um, on the 10th of March 2020, Girl Meets World star Sabrina Carpenter would take over the role of Katie.
Girl Meets World Star,
Sabrina
Sabrina Carpenter.
Carpenter. She's never won any Grammys, never made any pop perfection albums. No, 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 no. Girl Meets World star Sabrina Carpenter. That's how the Playboy article described her.
Yeah, I mean, it was 2020.
The playbills with Renee Rapp and Sabrina Carpenter in them, I think, sell for a shit ton of money because
Oh,
COVID.
he was Vine Star.
Yes,
Why did I fully forget he was a Vine Star?
star. So he did that weird internet collective thing where he toured around. It was like Hype House before Hype House.
So funny.
Anyway, Broadway would shut down 2 days after they took their bows. The world couldn't handle the joint slaves, Sabrina Carpenter and Renee Rapp.
Many couldn't.
Many couldn't. They
I
would not.
could.
Huh?
I could.
Me as a 16-year-old definitely could. Today I could. Um, I think they.
Quite frankly,
Yeah.
no, I can't say it in public.
What were you about to say?
No, I can't say it in public.
Okay. Will you
So
tell
I
me?
would do anything.
Mm-hmm.
Sabrina Carpenter and Renee Rapp,
Mm-hmm.
I would do anything.
Yeah.
And that's all I'll say in public.
Okay. Fuzz.
I'd stage door, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. We'd be on a plane. Um, they would not reopen after the pandemic. They would announce plans for the West End in 2021, but would not happen due to obvious reasons, COVID and Heathers. Heathers was
The
galvanized
two
in
big ones.
yeah, the two pandemics. Um, the movie would happen much farther than people me thought, with Angelique Rice as Katie, Renee Rapp as Regina, BB Wood as Gretchen, Ivanka as Karen, Ali Cavallo as Janice, Jaquel Spivey as Damien, Christopher Bridie as Aaron, and Tina Fey reprised her role as Miss Norbury. It would do better at the box
One of
office.
the texts you sent me about the Mean Girls movie was that it was filmed in 26 days.
Yes, yes, it was. It was filmed in 26 days.
That's ridiculous.
Nia from Dance Moms is in it.
I know,
Briefly.
crazy.
And it's so weird because the music, the song sequences and the movie musical are shot like a music video.
Yeah,
It's not as bad as everyone thought it was. It's still pretty bad, but like it's not a train wreck.
it's watchable.
It is. Like if I were to have two drinks in me at that time, I would have. I laughed at the Mean Girls movie musical.
Yeah,
And
but as late as 2022, you were talking about crying to the Mean Girls soundtrack. So
such a fucking loser.
listen,
It would do better at people. It would do better at the box office. Like it did well at the box office.
yeah,
And I think it was supposed to go on Paramount Plus, but then the actors and the writer's strike happened, so they had no new films to release. So they released it in cinemas, kind of on a whim.
yeah,
Um, Renee Rapp was great on the press tour. Her being mean to that guy Buddy. What else did she
yeah.
say? being mean to that guy Buddy, her and Chris Briney being besties. Love the summer I turned pretty. Team Conrad. Um, Knowing the number of days it'd been since Wendy Williams was last seen in public, you know,
Icon.
those are the things on Renee Rapp's mind, and I say the world's mind.
And I'll say again, I would do anything.
Mhm. Okay, we're gonna say something else, but that's what you gotta say. Go ahead. Um,
I would do anything.
I just think she's really talented, man. She was great in the movie. Well done. I think it should have been shot better and just
Yeah.
focus on her face because World Burn is such a great song. You don't need to be doing anything else for it. You don't need to be doing all that. The rest of them, I feel like you do need to be doing all that. World Burn, keep it simple. Um, Also, like Lindsay Lohan would have like a guest appearance, and I saw some people like kids on TikTok be like, "Who is this woman?" I was like, "Guys, it's Lindsay fucking Lohan, idiots." It's Lindsay Lohan. Also, like all of the press around Mean Girls, the musical, when it first came to Broadway, was talking about what Lindsay Lohan was doing, and I was like, guys, we don't need to be talking about what she's up to. I feel like she's one where we should just like let her rock.
Mm.
That movie with her, what's her face, Christian Chenoweth, and the pedophile English teacher from Pretty Little Liars. I need to watch though.
Oh, the Christmas one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that seems
Are
like
there
something.
exes?
Yeah,
Yeah. I want to watch it.
that seems like something I'd really like because it's like they let 13-year-old me cast a movie. Um, they they would come to the West End on the 24th of June and open to positive reviews. People liked it. London theatre critics tend to like it, and I thought it was going to be a bigger hit here.
Yeah. What's that tweet we used to quote all the time?
Um, in America or New York, theatre is religious and serious, and on the West End, it's just for fun.
Something like that. But it holds up, unfortunately. It continues to hold up.
Every day, I'm like, it holds up. I think that's why Shucked. I keep forgetting Shucked is coming here this summer.
I know Shocked is coming in.
You gotta go see
I
Shucked.
keep when I first saw that tweet, I was so pissed off. I was like, no.
No, it's not.
I specifically take theatre so seriously here in London. And then every time I go and see a show, I'm like, I'm just here for fun, if we're being honest.
Every
Like the
time,
tweet holds up. I am just having fun.
except from Hades Town and Natasha Perry and the Great Club 1812 and when
Hades Town and Great Comet I was locked into.
I locked in.
But I hate to say it. The entire time we were like, what should they perform for the Olympics? We were like, well, they have to do Balaga because it's fun.
Just for fun.
And guess what they did? Balaga because it's fun.
Fun.
It continues to hold up, and it does kind of annoy me that it does.
Like that's why Gatsby is selling so well. Like I was like looking at Gatsby and I was like, why the fuck is this selling so well? And I was like, UK love Gatsby.
Just love a bit of fun.
Um, they would change some songs, much to my annoyance. Why didn't they consult me?
Should have asked us.
I've been on this
Not
journey.
me, but
Guys.
Esme.
I've been on this journey with you guys, unwillingly for a lot of it, actually. Um, they would win Best Musical at the What's on Stage Awards. Tina Fey would give a virtual speech. How did you get Tina Fey to give you a speech? Let me know. Hit me up. And would be nominated for one Olivier, being Tom Zander. They would announce that they would be closing after a year and going on a UK tour. I think the UK tour will do well. I was expecting it to come and kind of have the Heathers effect. But instead, all the teens got really into Starlight.
Mm.
And I've been pondering that this week, and I don't have a hypothesis yet. I've just been pondering.
So I'm thinking about how it's the thing that's happening.
Yeah, I've just been thinking about the fact that there's teenagers really into Starlight, and they're really fucking annoying when you go to see the show.
Andrew Lloyd Webber strikes again.
You cannot stop Andy. You know? And I also think like maybe we are reaching oversaturation of that audience because of how well Heathers did here. Everyone's like, what's the next Heather?
Yeah.
And it's like, actually, it's got nothing to do with that. It's the show about trains that's been around since the 80s.
Esme, they made one of them a lesbian. Two of them, actually.
Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah,
What teenager doesn't love lesbian trains?
I don't know.
Think back to everything we've just said about being a teenage girl
Mm.
and tell me what part of that doesn't scream, we need to go and watch a show on roller skates about lesbian trains. It's not even about them, if we're being honest. They just
No,
happen to be there.
there's like a lesbian train, and she like sings a song.
Two of them, actually, and they both sing songs.
They both sing songs, but like it's really just that one
It's
song.
about the Starlight Express, if we're being honest.
It's just the spectacle of it. Because I do think I also think about that Patti LuPone thing of like everyone's just getting dumber, and I'm like, yeah, we are.
Yeah, we are.
We're getting so much fucking dumb. Anyway, oh Mary, you're gonna do great over here.
Oh, Mary, if no one else, we will be there every night.
I'm gonna be around. I'm gonna
We
take
said we were buying a box for Hamilton. We're buying a box for O'Mary.
Abraham Lincoln style.
Call me the
Call
opera
me
ghost.
call me Abe. I'll be in a box.
I will be there non-stop. That box is mine.
That's a Hamilton pun.
Did I not instruct
Box
that
five.
box 5 was to be left empty?
Guys, I unironically listen to the Oh Mary pre-show playlist when I need a laugh because it's just so joyous. I listen to
Get to London right now because we fucking need you.
I listen to what is it called? I'm losing my mind. I'm losing my
Oh, from
mind
Follies.
from Follies, but the Liza Minnelli version that they play
Yeah.
in Oh Mary all the time. I listened to it right before I saw Titanic because like, as I was like walking to the theater, me and my dad, because I was like, I feel like this is the energy, and it was. And so to like
Yeah.
sit in the theater and have that play right before I see a show.
Perfect.
Carlos goes on.
Anyways,
Anyways, next week we are doing
what the fuck are we doing next week? What
High
do we
School,
say?
High School Musical, baby.
Oh my God, High School Musical.
Yeah,
What
guys,
a movie.
we're busy next week
As
again.
High School Musical might be our most serious episode yet because I don't think either of us is going to have the energy to make jokes.
No, I'm going to be deadly serious. I'm going to talk about how I think 2008 is one of the greatest years for teen culture ever and how I kind of invented the modern version of the teenager. And I'm being deadly fucking serious. This has been something I've been thinking about for like 2 years.
We're going to start recording at 7 p.m. We record for 2 hours straight. The second I'm starting a timer for 2 hours next week, the second it's up,
Yeah,
I'm logging off.
I'm going to bed.
Like, it's done. It doesn't matter if we're halfway through High School Musical, we're done.
Yeah, we're done. You might be like, Esme, your this is it. Wrong. The grind never stops. Take it up with my chancellor. She sucks.
I feel incredibly awful because I did not extend this sympathy to Esme in the days before her diss was due.
You're like, let's do Phantom. One day you were like, we don't have to do Phantom. I was like, no, let's do Phantom.
Yeah.
And we also
I was like, we can do something easier. And you're like, no.
let's do Phantom.
8 hour recording.
8 hour recording Phantom of the Opera. You might be like, Esme, yeah, your diss was in. Isn't that it? No, I have to do 5,000 more words. Yes.
In fairness, I have my diss and another essay due on the same day, and I'm working.
That is true.
So I feel like I'm allowed to be stressed.
No, you're allowed to be stressed. 100%. I'm just explaining to the person at home that it's not
Singular.
People listen to this. I don't know why. And only one person so far my entire time of yapping online has said you talk funny. You should get elocution lessons. And I say
You just don't get that West London charm.
Probably I should actually. Yeah.
Actually.
Actually, yeah, I probably should get on that, but I actually can't be fucked. So
We were talking before about how crazy our like different accents are for living 10 minutes away from each other.
I don't actually know where I got it. Actually, I do because I was sat around with my friend, with one of my friends who one of my besties at uni, and then one of the girls who I grew up with came in, and we started talking, and then she left, and my friend went, "Yeah, you guys talk really alike. It's like crazy," and I was like, "Yeah."
Let's just say, listen, the fact that I don't have as much of a West London accent as Esme does is actually doing wonders for our listeners. Because if we both had a West London accent, we would become like, you wouldn't be able to understand us.
Dude, like, I don't know why. I don't know why. Actually, I saw Matilda with her for the first time ever. she ever came on the podcast, you guys would not be able to understand us. Also because like it like she also has like a vaguely Canadian twinge.
Yeah.
It's like West London and like Canadian. It's hilarious. I love her voice because it also is how I sound. There's a TikTok that I made, like I made up directly after talking to her, and I was like, Jesus Christ, I'm talking gibberish. That was the one where someone was like, you're mumbling your words.
You just didn't get it.
You didn't get it. You didn't see a bitch from West London
You didn't
winning.
get it.
Yeah. Anyways.
West London massive.
You guys ever seen people just do nothing? That's unironically. There are people like me out there. Anyway, I'm educated, I swear.
Anyways.
Speak to you guys next week for High School Musical, and then we're gonna do Tony's the week after. And then a re-up.
Yep.